Good day. Today is the February 24th of February 2021. The temperature is 16 degrees centigrade, so I can show you how to inspect a hive, hopefully. Mandy, my wife, is going to be helping me. First thing she's going to do is to check that I'm done up and secure. Okay, could you up here? Okay.
You pushed it now?
Yeah. Okay. Right. So this hive here is to be inspected. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll try and shout because we're quite some way off and we're running on battery power. So the first thing you do is take the roof off, undo the straps, take the roof off and place it safely where you're not going to stand on it. So Mandy's going to place it flat on the floor, flat, a bit further over to me. That's it. So flat on the floor in front of the hive. You're going to put supers on there. On this hive we have a queen excluder from last year which will need to go home and be cleaned, and a super full of insulation. This goes on the roof. No,
In?
diamond shape. That's it, on the roof, four corners touching. Right. Smoke. Give the entrance a very delicate puff. You can now see the top of the hive, and this is the crown board. The crown boards are covered. I'm going to release one corner of the crown board and I'm going to give them some smoke. Just a little smoke. Release all four corners. Take up the crown board and check whether there is the queen on the board. Placing that in front of the entrance so that any bees can go back. Right, as you can see, the bees are active, they're not in cluster. Now you have two types of hive tool. I prefer this one. The problem with this one is that people put it on the lugs and break the lugs. Now it could be quite difficult going into this hive because they're in winter mode. So first of all, using this motion, I can just move the hive forward. We take out the dummy board. Right, now you push the dummy board away from the wall, not towards the wall, because in summer you will have bees resting on the wall of the hive. Slowly take the dummy board out where are no bees. Slight signs of damp, it's winter. Place that in front of the hive where it's safely. Now as a beginner, I suggest that you take out the first frame. Now this frame has only just been started to be drawn out. When you inspect a frame, you do it like a Union Jack flag or an Irish flag or a European flag. So look at this side Put it vertical, swivel it round, look at that side. It's easy to do when there's no bees on there. Placing that, 2 points of contact on the earth. You don't want to get any mud, debris on the comb because that's going to contaminate the honey. Right, when working a hive, you try and keep your arms not over the top. Bees see movements. Now these are calm bees, but some bees, if you would just wipe your hands across the top, they would come up. I'm going to take the first frame out. Now I'm left-handed, so you right-handers would be holding the frame in their left hand and the hive tool in their right hand. Being left-handed, I'm holding the frame. I'm looking for bees. I don't want to crush a bee because it will sting me. And I'm going to release the frame without jarring it. And now the farther end without jarring it. The frame is now released. I have a nice big gap, so I pick up the frame. So what can I see? What can you see? That is pure honey. Just touch them lightly and they will move out of the way. You see the white cappings. I can break it and it's set honey. Place it vertically down so as not to roll any bees off. If you roll bees off, they will get angry, you will kill a few. That will mean that they will attack you. You don't want to get stung. Let's move the bees off slightly. Pointed, nozzle pointing down. I can move the bees. Second frame. Release. Vertically up. Now we're getting into more bees. Turn it round. Right. No queen, but they're eating their stores of honey. Purely honey so far. Place the frame in the hive and close it up gently so as not to crush bees. Move on to the fourth frame. Right, now this one is very heavy. Right, this one weighs about 5 pounds because it is full of honey. Right, it is very difficult to move the frame to turn it. I'm not expecting the queen to be on the food frame, though she could. Take it down, close it up gently. So all the frames are closed up and touching. This will mean you only have to put them together once, so you're less likely to crush a bee. Moving on to the next one, I'm going to give them a bit more smoke, just very little, just moving them. Move them away from the lugs because that's where your hands are going to be. Move on to the next frame. Again, very heavy. Right, this is solid honey. Very old honey. It's been there probably since June. Take it down. Close up the frame. Right, now because this is the first inspection, I'm going to take the burr comb off the top to make it easier to inspect next time. So easy to crush bees. if you're covered in burr comb. Right, I'll just go into the bucket later. You don't want to spread it around because that can spread disease. Next frame, gently take it up, still more weight. They have got lots, but we're getting to the center of the hive. There's about 2,000 bees there. No sign of the queen. Right, there's liquid honey at the base. So these have got, first thing we've understood is that these have plenty of stores. They do not feed in fondant. People feed fondant too early, in my opinion. Right, let's just take the burr comb off. Right. Next frame. Right. The cells are polished, but there are no eggs yet. There are no eggs on this frame. Right, we're getting further into the frame. Right, I would expect to see some brood soon, hopefully. More bees, much more bees. Right, we've got eggs, but that's very difficult to show you. But you can see a white, very bee that has hatched. It's still got its white fur, sort of like a ghost bee. Don't know whether you can see that. Some very young bees. Right. You saw how they came off the comb very fast when I moved my hand to the centre of the comb. They saw the movement. Right, final frames. So we've got no larvae yet, it's a bit early. So I'm not going to go any further because I can see that this is stores. Now that would be a first inspection. What we haven't seen is the queen or capped brood. It's been very cold recently and the queen has stopped laying. Right. We now have all the frames picked up with a gap. So the object is to get them back. Now if you've got strong thumbs you can push them back. But no. Use the mechanics, fulcrum. So using this as a fulcrum, push it back. On the sidebars. Replacing one frame, the final frame. Push it back again. Push it back again. Push it back again. Move the bees away from the lugs where they're tightening up. really hard, tight packed. Right, there are 11 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks as though it will hold 12 when you first put your frames in a box, but no, it's 11 plus a dummy board. Right, bit more tidying up with the brace comb. And we're ready to put them back. So the first thing we do is to transfer the bees. Right, they're bringing in a small amount of pollen. There are bees with pollen on. Right, holding the frame like this, you give them a sharp shock and the bees should all come off. Okay, or nearly all the bees come off. Right. I'm going to clean the burr comb off the crown board. I don't want to crush bees. Out the way. That's clean enough. Right. Putting it on, just give them a bit of smoke to get rid of them down. 3-point contact. Slide it on. Cover the crown board. Holes, the feed holes. No, the right. A super to hold the insulation. This is where I would put the feeder if we were going to feed them, but they've got plenty of honey. Insulation. We prefer a lot of insulation. You can use blankets, pillows. Right. The rower board lives on top. And I'm going to leave this on here and come round and collect all the hive off. Roof. Right, this is a deep 6-inch or 8-inch Norfolk roof. Right, and finally, I'm standing on the strap. We're going to strap it down to stop little boys and horses, because there's horses in the next field. Right, so So that's very tight, and that is the first inspection.